Hello, my name is Mary Rednauer, and this is my presentation on the return on investment as it relates to instructional design. So what is ROI? ROI is an acronym for return on investment. Traditionally, it was used in business, and it is still used heavily in business, but it's transitioning more to being used in education. It's to drive what companies do to increase their revenue and to decrease their expenditure. This creates a positive return on their investment or a positive influx. This can be measured in education, specifically with virtual learning, with the time in education right now, by focusing on something that we want to see increase or change in our students. So for example, if we want to see an increase in test scores in math, we could implement the return on investment strategy or the model that we'll talk about in just a little bit, and use that in instructional design to increase the test scores and assessment scores of our students. So a model that's used heavily in return on investment is called the Kirkpatrick Model. Now this one only has 4 levels, and we'll get into that in just a little bit, but some of the newer models actually have 5 levels to it. But the 5th level actually combines 2. So the Kirkpatrick Model is a well-known model to measure participants' growth in trainings or other forms of learning. So a lot of businesses might use this when they're trying to implement something new into their business to try to get that positive ROI. And we use this in education to see if we can increase students' test scores and reach more students' learning capabilities. So there are 4 levels shown in the previous model illustration, but like I said earlier, there are actually 5. The first level is a reaction, so a reaction to what is being taught. Level 2 is learning, what the participants or the students have learned from the new model or the new information. The third level is the behavioral changes. So how the new information is changing their learning or changing how they're acting in the environment. Level 4 is the business impact, how it impacts the result. And then the 5th level is the return on investment. So this level 5 is usually combined into the level 4 because we want a positive return on investment with the business impact. So level 1, let's go a little bit more in depth. Level 1 is the reaction. When it comes to evaluation, reaction from participants is vital. So reaction can be measured by asking participants for feedback on the content. For example, a lot of times in higher learning, the professors or the teachers or even the school itself asks students to have a course feedback survey, or even type out or comment personal feedback. Something very simple that can be implemented is a like button. This can be used in specifically lower grades. If the student liked the content, if the student had a hard time understanding the content, you could just have a thumbs up or a thumbs down button. And then higher education, you could ask students how the content could be better or how we could help them learn even more. The second level is learning. This is a phase in the model that students show what they have learned. In a traditional classroom setting, this could be shown through different assessments like written assessments, presentations, and that can also transition into the virtual learning or training. You can do online quizzes. You can use the Google platform with the forms and the Google quizzes, and then online assessment tools, online presentations, and so forth. Level 3 is behavioral changes. Now, this is one of the most difficult levels to assess. This can be measured by observation in the newly learned skills, and this can be measured over time by combining different assessment tools and observations of how the students or participants applied the learned skill. So this weighs heavily on observation. Level 4 is the business impact. Traditionally, this is measured through productivity measures. In education, this can be measured through how many times a student has to redo or revisit the learned topic. We will see that if a group of students has a hard time learning a specific topic, we will see that we have to spend a lot of time on that specific topic. Now in business, this can be measured in time that it takes to complete a job and do it right without having to revisit it. It's very similar in business and in education. And then level 5 is the return on investment. So this is why it is combined with the level 4, because we want in education or in business it's usually converted to a monetary value, but in education it's how quickly the students can grasp what we're teaching them and move on to the next topic. Now, so how is ROI used in instructional design? So education leaders do not seek a monetary return on their investments like business leaders do. They seek greater student learning or other outcomes like student citizenship, higher graduation rates, or increased lifetime earnings and career options. Now, even this could be translated to early childhood education, where we as teachers can move through topics quickly. So when teachers are planning lessons and instruction, it's important to develop them with instructional design in mind. Now, this is for every single lesson because we want to reach as many students and as many learning styles as we possibly can. When we constantly use instructional design, we can also implement using educational ROI. We can use this because teachers want their students to be the best that they can be in all areas, and we want them to be able to absorb and learn the information quickly so that we can transition to a new topic and grow their learning and their knowledge in that topic. So here I have an example of ROI in education. Now this is from a study done by Stephen Frank and Don Hovey. A teacher notices that the students in the class have a very low English language arts score. The teacher expects that those scores will continue to decrease if the same coursework and instruction is given. With this in mind, the teacher uses instructional design in the development of a new structure of lessons. When this is implemented, the teacher can use the same Kirkpatrick model of business to evaluate the implementation of the new structure. The goal is to have a positive return on investment and have the students take less time to complete their work with a higher score on assessments. And these are my resources. Thank you.